What's the next stage?
Hello, it's me, Gazakova, and welcome back to the Me, Gazakova Show. Y'all all know who Spider-Man is. If you pretty you didn't, but one fact you may not know about him is that he has a lot of different iterations spawned from Japan, the most famous of which being Toei Spider-Man, which was a live-action series very similar to the usual things we review, even being the precursor to the use of giant robots in Super Sentai, with Spider-Man having a personal giant robot known as Leopardon in the show. But while it'd be nice to be one of the 7 human beings to have actually watched that show, we're instead going to talk about a more recent product of Japanese Spider-Man media, that being the cancelled Spider-Man Figurehead manga. This manga follows the story of Japanese-American high schooler Yu Oname, who one day happens to stumble upon a discarded Spider-Man suit, and becomes Spider-Man in the place of the real one who mysteriously disappeared. This is a pretty short manga, being only 14 chapters, but it uses its time pretty well to tell a genuinely interesting story that's to the core of why people like Spider-Man. Yu, while being a basic protagonist, following this pretty basic formula of every Spider-Man before him, where they're a loser who becoming Spider-Man learns how to become a better and more confident person through their actions. But just like similar characters such as Miles and Peter have shown, that type of story is always something you can get invested in, and Yu is no different in that regard, especially with the twist of Yu having no powers at all, and that the Spider-Man stuff comes way harder than it already does for the others. The best example of this is the fight against Screwball in the manga, where you gotta really work his magic with them web shooters in order to catch up to her, legitimately scratching himself up on the side of windows while complaining about how any misstep could be a fall to his death. Never seen a Spider-Man do that before, but that type of struggle and perseverance in the face of great fear helps me get me invested in him. It's even seen in his and the manga's best moment near the end of its run, as Yu finally does meet Peter, but not as Spider-Man, but as Venom. As Peter, after his usual fumbling the bag of relationship with Mary Jane and throwing his costume away in the typical Spider-Man No More scenario, which would probably have been explained better if the manga went on longer, Peter was captured by Mysterio and given the Venom symbiote, which he continued to try and fight off until he finally gives into it and starts attacking people in the street, leaving you as the one to try and fight him, eventually realizing that it's the real Spider-Man he's fighting. With Peter as Venom being unsure of who or what he is, which Yu, a boy who spent his life before being Spider-Man so anxious and scared of everything, understands so well. But now that he's Spider-Man, he's become sure of who he is, and a more confident person, handing over the mask to Peter to try and help him be able to find himself once more in his identity as Spider-Man, leading Peter to find that strength and courage that he lost, putting a nice bow on both Yu and Peter's stories here, as in the end, both the real and fake Spider-Man became heroes. There's even some cool recontextualization of some Spider-Man lore here, as Peter gains his black suit in this moment of regaining his confidence as a hero, despite the suit usually be depicted as the opposite of that for Peter, where he becomes the worst version of him and Spider-Man. But yeah, this manga is pretty cool, despite being short-lived, and I'd recommend you read it, especially since it was recently released in English by Viz Media officially. But that was just my thoughts. See you in another review where I'm hopefully just as positive.